Hello, dear participants of International Forum of Journalists Russia-Africa. My name is Bogdanova Marina, and we are really welcome to the second online lecture on education in Russia. So our project is conducted by Alpha Dialogue Educational Center with the support of Gorchakov Fund. And I'm really pleased to announce the speaker of our lecture, Maxim Zalyvskiy, head of the project office of the consortium Russian-Africa Network University. I'm really honored to give you the floor.
Thank you very much, Marina. Maxim Залывский. I'm the head of the project office of Russian-African Network University. And I'm working in this network, I would say, community under the coordination of St. Petersburg Polytechnic University, which is named as coordinator by our Ministry of Higher Education and Science of Russia. And Russian African Network University is quite new. It's quite new structure. It's quite new organization, I would say. It was established in 2021 by a special decree of our Ministry of Higher Education and Science of Russian Federation. And the main role of Russian African Network University, the main mission, I would say, is to create a unified educational space, unified space between joining together two continents, I would say, Africa and Russia. So, of course, we know that Africa is very huge, very big. There are 54 different countries, different mentalities, different traditions, and of course, Russia as a country and our policy of the country is, of course, to respect each culture, each tradition, and this is really matters for Russia, and it is one of the main principles of Russian external policy, foreign policy. So that is why this consortium, Russian African Network University, is aimed to join universities from African countries and Russia in order to create joint educational programs, in order to create more academic mobility between countries, between continents. And of course, I will not hide it. Of course, it's to strengthen the friendship between Russia and Africa. And in our case, of course, if we are speaking about Ethiopia, we have really close ties with the country since long ago. And me personally, I visited Ethiopia just 1 month ago in February. It was my first visit in this beautiful country, and I was really impressed by the level of development I noticed in the country, and it's really remarkable because and I would say it's a feeling that I have in most of the African countries when I arrive in these countries, and I'm really surprised by this fact because we see now Africa is booming. We see now Africa is developing quickly, its economy, its infrastructure, etc., etc. And it's also my role, also as a head of the project office of this consortium, is to know better cultures of African countries, to know better, for example, Ethiopia, in order to inform my colleagues here in Russia that you can come in Ethiopia, you can work in Ethiopia, you can create some joint ventures, joint projects, etc., etc. This is quite important because, frankly speaking, there are still a lot of people in Russia who do not really realize how Africa is looking like now. And of course, my personal opinion, we need to work really closely with African countries in order to be not only successful in the nearest future, but also to create this platform, this fundamental platform for the future generations of our countries. Also for Ethiopia, for Russia, it's quite important. Also, we know that Africa is growing not only quickly in terms of economies, but it's also growing in terms of population. So it's quite important our business, the educational business where we are represented by the consortium, is to deal with universities, is to deal with the education and science, because future generations of African countries will demand qualified education in order to be able to work in these developing economies. And we know, you know better than me, maybe, that we are living now in the digital world, and Africa is not standing aside of this trend. I see now that not only in Ethiopia, but also in different African countries, we see a lot of startups in some digital projects, etc., etc. So digitalization of economy is also quite it's an actual trend of developing of most of the African countries. So for this reason, Ethiopia also need a lot of qualified specialists for future needs. So here Russia is always ready to help, and maybe someone know also that during 60s, 70s, 80s, Russia, in that case, it was Soviet Union, was already involved in education of African citizens. And Soviet Union made a lot of efforts to create some universities, institutes inside Africa. Soviet Union also presented a lot of quotas for African citizens to come to Soviet Union and to study in Soviet Union. And frankly speaking, we are really proud of that people who made their studies in Russia in that period. We now see them, sometimes we see them as prime ministers, as foreign ministers of their countries, as big businessmen, etc., etc. And this fact tells us that Soviet and Russian education has a lot of qualities and gives a lot of opportunities for students, for future professionals, and the quality in general of Russian education is quite high. And it's remarkable now. I can say that also maybe someone knows this fact. Now in Russia there are about 35,000 African students. It's a huge number, especially if we compare this number with the number of students in 2010. So this number grew for 3 times, just for 3 times in 15 years. Just imagine. So we see that the interest coming from African students towards education in Russia is constantly growing. This is really a pleasant fact for us, and we realize it in Russia. We realize it also at the level of the Ministry of Higher Education and Science and the Russian government, and all these structures, all these governmental bodies, they realize that we have a lot of things to do in the nearest future to facilitate the way how African people, African students can come in Russia, can study efficiently in Russian universities. And so here our consortium is to help also, is to create some to analyze first of all, to analyze these students flow, I would say, to Russia to analyze which needs, which main, I would say, specialities for education Africa needs. I mean, agriculture, medicine, or engineers, etc., etc. So we analyze all this information, and we also trying to present our view to the Russian government. What is better to do in the nearest future to facilitate the cooperation with African countries in terms of students' mobility, in terms of attracting talented people from African countries, especially from Ethiopia. And also, I can add that if we are speaking about Ethiopia, I really like this country, and not only because of the fact that it's booming, it's developing right now, but I liked really, in general, the nature. I liked really people who is living in beautiful people who are living in the country. And I saw a lot of intelligent people and a lot of talented people who participated in our events in Addis Ababa last February. And I'm pretty sure that you have a big potential, especially taking into consideration that Ethiopia is one of the leading economies in Africa. Ethiopia is one of the biggest country in Africa in terms of population. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 130 million people now living in Ethiopia. So it's a lot of challenges, of course. It represents a lot of challenges, such a big population, in terms of creating some job opportunities in future. But it also gives a lot of, I would say, a lot of positive opportunities for Ethiopia to develop its own economy, different spheres of the economy, energy construction, it's maybe nuclear power plants, for example. I know that it's already discussed between our countries. It's also some hydro energy. Agriculture is also very important in terms of, if we take into consideration the fact that Ethiopia is one of the leading in coffee producers in Africa, and especially we know that the fact that Ethiopia is one of the territory of the Ethiopia is one of the highest in Africa. Someone says that Ethiopia is like the roof of the Africa. It's almost true, because even Addis Ababa is situated on the height of 2,500 meters. It's also the fact that influence is a lot on agriculture, because when you are high above the level of the sea, there are some issues with agriculture. So here Russia is also happy and ready to help to prepare qualified specialists, qualified professionals for this sphere of economy, for agriculture. But in general, I also would like to mention some facts in general about Russian African University. For the moment, it's a huge structure. We unite more than 90 universities from Russia, leading universities from Russia. And by the way, Alpha Dialogue is also making part of our consortium. But which is more important, the number of African countries and the number of African universities participating in our consortium. Now we're quite big. 15 African countries represented in the consortium, as well as Ethiopia is represented by 2 universities. So, but of course we are not living only, and we are not satisfied only by numbers, but it's also a good target to achieve, of course, and to spread our activity across African continent. But the most important thing is to really create some efficient cooperation. And here, for example, in the nearest future, we are going to speak a little bit more and to work a little bit more with Addis Ababa, for example, university, the leading university in Ethiopia. We hope that we will have some joint educational programs in the nearest future. But it's like, you know, some projects, it's like some kind of a plans for the future. But as for the moment, I was speaking with a lot of Ethiopians in Addis Ababa, and I also knew that there is an increasing demand among Ethiopian people to come to Russia. I was also speaking to our embassy in Ethiopia, to our Russian embassy in Ethiopia. There are a lot of inquiries, requests, I would say, to study in Russia, not only using Russian governmental quotas, but also there is increasing demand in Ethiopia to come and to pay for Russian education. And it's also not a bad idea, I would say, because we also made some kind of analysis, and maybe it will be interesting to hear. A lot of Russian universities can propose you educational programs for the affordable price. Even if we compare this price with some African countries like Egypt, for example, Morocco, some South Africa, for example, where are some leading African universities. So, it's a strange fact, but Russian education sometimes is cheaper than in Africa. So I think it's important to notice it during my presentation. And also, if you are planning to come for education in Russia, you must know that the costs of living in Russia is also quite moderate enough, you know, especially if you compare with Europe or with some Western countries. So you can afford quite easily education for some moderate amount of money in Russia. What I can say also during my presentation, I think if you are interested, of course, in coming to Russia and study, of course, we can provide with all information we have about Russian universities, about their flagship educational programs, etc., etc. So you can address to us directly. I hope that organizers will share our contact details with you. So we are quite open to cooperate. Of course, Russian African Network University is not real, you know, physical university. We are working in digitalized space, I would say. But we are, you know, like an efficient instrument, an official tool for contacting. We can provide you with all information. So you are welcome. Just in general, what I can say to you. I hope my colleague Alla will shortly join our presentation. I think she's coming. Okay, she's coming in 2 minutes. Marina, it's okay?
Yes, of course, it's okay. Maxim Nikolaevich, thank you.
Maybe you have some
maybe
questions. So maybe
maybe we can ask for questions from the participants.
Yeah.
So please, if you have questions, please raise your hand, and I'll switch your mic. I can see some of our participants. Peter from Tanzania, hello.
Hello to Tanzania.
We have our speakers and the experts, Halili from Tanzania as well. So please, if you have questions, you're welcome to ask while we are waiting for Alla Lazaryevna to join us. And Maxim Nikolaevich, if I could ask you about the education of journalists, do you have some programs, and is it something that is...
It's an interesting question. In fact, just 2 days ago, I think I had a discussion with Russian Friendship University named after Patrice Lumumba. It's a well-known university in Africa who raised a lot of professionals for African continent. And we were speaking with vice rector of this university. We were speaking really about journalists and how it's important to educate professionals for this job. Of course, yes, Russian universities have a lot of educational programs which can be interesting for African students, and we also interested in Russia is always struggling not struggling, but fighting for the truth, if you are speaking about African continent. So especially if you speak about our medias like Sputnik or Russia Today, of course, they need some good professionals who speak fluently on different languages, English, French language, and etc. Swahili, for example. And here they are, our universities. Of course, we are ready to, if some of you are interested, of course, we can provide with specialized information for your attention. So just contact us.
And, yes, thank you. We'll share all the contacts of RAFU with the participants. And I have a question about, as far as I know, you have some kind of website or catalog where you can find different courses from both Russian and African universities. Can you say a few words about that?
Yes, on our website, rafu.ru, we have digitalized online catalog of courses. Most part of them are free of charge. I think about 90 educational courses are free of charge for African citizens. So yes, I'm not sure that there are some courses on journalism, but we need to check out.
Yes.
I'm not ready to answer this question right now. But if you are interested, of course, we can ask some Russian universities to share with us such online courses and place them on our platform. So no,
yes,
I don't see any problem for this. So I would like to give the floor to my colleague, if you let me, Marina.
Yes, sure, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maxim Nikolaevich, for your time. And while we are checking, we have a question from one of our journalists, Halililite from Tanzania. He asks if there is a scholarship program for journalists to study in Russia, not only for journalists, but other fields like climate change. I know there are several exchange programs, especially here in Tanzania. This is the question from Halililite.
Yeah. As far as I know, Marina, there are no special quotas for journalism or, for example, for forest industry. I just also came back from Tanzania just 3 weeks ago, and we visited a lot of universities in Tanzania with our Russian, St. Petersburg Forest University, by the way, was with us, and also some regional universities from Russia, from Petrozavodsk, from Syktyvkar. And we were speaking about scholarships for Tanzanian students. We were speaking during our visits to Tanzanian universities. My answer, there are no special conditions, to get Russian scholarship. for specialized, education. So the main thing is you need to apply for scholarship. That's all, and then you choose the right university, the university you need. As far as I understand this issue,
Network. So one more time, we are discussing the education in Russian Federation. And I think that the easiest way will be to discuss education in Russian Federation on the example of one of the university. And for us, it is easier to speak about our university. First of all, I think I can answer on the question of some person who spoke about the grant or stipendium to cover the education in Russian Federation for journalists or any other specialty. I will tell it about it in my presentation. There are some different way to get a grant, but it will be not the grant of the university, but of Ministry of Education of Russian Federation. So first of all, our university is, I tried to say already, it is one of the biggest technical university. It is Polytechnic University, but it is not only technical, it is, we have about 7,000 students who are studying in economy and business and management. And we have about 4,000 students who study different kind of human sciences. We have not journalists, but from other from other side, we have, for example, advertising and media services. I said that the university is quite big. Most of Russian university, if we speak about possibility to study in our country, most of our universities have dormitory for students inside the campus or not far from campus, and dormitories are really not expensive. So for foreign students, there are all the conditions. If you are okay to live not alone in the room, you can live in the campus, and it will be close to the educational space. Our university, for example, have about 33,000 of students, and including 5,000 international students from 107 countries, including African countries, of course. We have 2,000 professors, including about 300 international professors. And the university is quite international. The university on the international level take a very good place, top 300 in international ranking. For example, times higher education, we have the positions 301, 350. In QS ranking, we are in top 400. That is quite high. And in Russian ranking, we are top 8. We have all necessary things, not only for the science and education, but also for the student life inside the campus. We have our students who accompany all international students coming first time in Russia. They meet them in airport, they accompany them inside the campus. They help them to find the room, the electronic workspace, different subjects, etc., etc. So they accompany foreign students during first months. It is like accommodation period. So for the students who come in the beginning without the language, it is not a problem. They will be accompanied. Of course, our university, like all the university of Russia, has some sportive complex. And inside the curriculum of education, sports activity are included because we think that it is quite good for the health of our students. not only for the free time. And of course, about education, our university and most of, I will say, Russian universities has, first of all, University Foundation Program. University Foundation Program, it is a program of the preparation in language skills. During 1 year, you are going to study Russian language. After 1 year, if you are successful, you receive the certificate of Russian language. And after, you can study in any university, in any program in Russian language. So it is not only the courses of Russian language like a language, but it is also the courses of scientific terminology of the field of study where you would like to study after this foundation program. All Russian universities propose different type of educational program. First of all, it is a bachelor program. Secondly, it is master program, and of course, it is PhD program. Moreover, most of Russian universities propose also the program of specialty. So bachelor program is not 3 like in Europe, for example, but 4 years. Specialty, so engineering education, it is 5 years. Master program, it is 2 years. The biggest university in Russian Federation propose the programs, most of the programs in Russian language, but also some programs in English language. There are really not a lot of universities in Russia who propose some other languages in education, except if it is joint double degree program. But mostly it is Russian language and English language. We have some double degree program. It means that we cooperate with some foreign university and our students study half time in our university and half time in foreign university. According to the common curricula, plan of education, and all the students who are successful to study in both countries, both part of the program, get not only 1 diploma in the end, but the diplomas of 2 universities. We have academic mobility programs, so it means that Russian students can study a part of education, for example, from 2 weeks till 1 semester abroad. And the same for foreign students, they can come to our university only for small academic mobility from 2 weeks till 1 or 2 semesters. So it is just the information if somebody will be interested to enter in Russian university. According to the law of Russian Federation, any university have to welcome foreign students. We cannot do it for free. So it is the education that have to be paid. But after it have to be paid by, I will miss the slides, either by the students or so the families, either by the Ministry of Education of your country, either by the Ministry of Education of Russian Federation. You see that the university have a lot of fields of education, including human science, economic science, etc., etc. We have PhD programs also in Russian and in English. You see the field of education. It is first of all engineering and technology, computer and IT, economics and management, and of course physical science and fundamental science. And it is a way how you can apply to not only to our, but to any Russian university. So, as I said, the first opportunity, it is education by contract. Your family or your enterprise or somebody pay your education. So you arrive in Russia, you sign a contract and you pay your education here. Another possibility, it is Russian government scholarship. You see the link to the website and also QR code to find the website. It is some kind of competition according to your documents. So you apply online, you choose the university, you choose the field of education, the city where you would like to study, and you apply online all your documents. The competition will take place in the end of the first semester. It means in the end of December. You can apply your documents from September to December. In the end of December, it is closed, and you get the information if you have the scholarship or not in the second semester of the year to enter in any chosen university from the 1st September. Generally speaking, all the education in Russian Federation begin 1st September. It is a day of knowledge in Russia, and all the education establishments, so schools, universities, colleges, etc., everybody begin 1st September or the first Monday, that is after 1st September. Another way of the competition, another way to get a grant to study in Russian Federation, it is the opportunity to take place in the so-called Olympiad, open doors. It means that it is kind of test. If you feel yourself good enough in your science after your education, you can also apply online and take part in Olympiad open doors to get a grant that covers the education in the country. So what is the size of grant? It is not the size of grant to win some money. This kind of grant cover the price of your education, the price of your accommodation, and you will get some small money, maybe additional to pay the transport. But all the rest, I mean the living cost in the country, so your food, etc., you will pay yourself. Some of students work in the country to get some small work, to get some money to go to the bar in the evening, etc., So the students have the right to work in parallel with education, with the condition that they are successful to pass all the exams, etc. So the application process, you see, it is for the contract education, all the applications you can apply in the university. Most of the university are working online. So for example, our website is here. Till the beginning of July, you can apply your documents and try to study here. But if you want to get grant from the Ministry of Education by two opportunities that I tell about just 5 minutes ago, you have to apply in the first semester, and it means that you will study from the first semester of the year 26. So what else? Russia, as you know, it is a country that is relatively closed. So to study here, any students or anybody, in fact, need a visa. To get a visa, you have to get a visa invitation. So the university, any university, the university prepares a visa education. It takes about 1 month. And after you yourself have to apply to the embassy or consulate of Russian Federation in your country to get your visa. The invitation is free if you apply to study in the university, but student visa is not free, but not expensive. The first visa for students is given for 90 days. during these 90 days, you have to arrive in Russian Federation and bring the originals of all your documents that you applied online. Our experts check that it is really originally your documents and not the copy of documents of your friends. And if all the documents are okay, if you get this grant to pay yourself your education, we extend the visa for multiple entry visa. And every year it will be extended according to the success of your education. If you pass exam, you pass to the second year, to the third year, etc. In any way, the visa is maximum duration of Russian visa is 1 year. So if you have the program of 4 years, it will be 4 different visas. About the diploma recognition, Russian diploma recognized internationally with most of the countries. Russia is a part of Gaga conference, so from the 1961, so during more than 60 years, so our education is quite famous, and we hope that it will keep the level in the future also. Moreover, if you study, for example, an international program, it means if you study in the university, for example, according academic mobility during 2 weeks, 1 semester, or if you come here for the short-term summer school, for example, 2 weeks, or if you come for 1 semester according academic mobility, Russian university who provides education in English provide also transcript in English according to your request if you need it. And in this case, when you come back to your home university, you can recognize courses that you successfully studied here, like part of your educational program. And I think that it is very comfortable situation where the student don't lose 1 semester if he or she study abroad. I will maybe not give the details about it is details about our university, but probably you will be more interested to give some questions.
So, dear participants, if you have questions, please raise a hand, and you can write a question or to just voice it. Okay, we have the answers. They say thank you. And Daniel from Cameroon asks, we will be pleased to hear from the University Foundation program.
University Foundation program, it is a program that may be, the duration can be different. It can be 1 year, it can be 6 months. So this program prepare you to study in Russia, but in Russian language, because of course Russian is the only state language in Russian Federation. So most of the educational program in Russian Federation are in Russia, except some international programs. And if you want to study in Russian language, of course, you need to study Russian language. So most of the universities propose foundation programs that takes 1 year. It means not really 1 year, but 9 months. So 2 semesters of education. This program, during the first semester, you study only the language, just to be able to speak. And during the second semester, you study the language and terminology according to your future specialty. It can be terminology for engineering education, human sciences, education in economy, in biology or medical science, and IT technology is different also. So 5 possibilities, 5 fields of education proposed by the foundation program usually. What exactly, which kind of other information is interesting about foundation program?
How can it be obtained? Who can benefit?
Everybody? No, one more time, it is online application. So if you are interested, you can look on the website of the university, our university, or any other university that you prefer to enter in Russia. All the applications are done online, so everybody can take part. If you want to get a grant of Russian Federation, normally you choose the bachelor program, and you make a small cross on the point that you need to study Russian language also. In this case, you will get grant to study, for example, in bachelor program, I don't know, in energy technology, and first year you will study only Russian language with the terminology of engineering education. Moreover, some university in Russia propose online foundation program, fully online. But if one day you will decide to go to study in Russian Federation, I will not recommend to study Russian language online. Maybe partly, but surely not all the program, because after we have enough of the difficulties with students who get online certification of Russian language, they enter to the university according to the documents because they have the diploma, but they are not able to study. So after first semester, they need either to lose 1 year and to study in foundation program, either go back home and study Russian language in some other way. So online programs is not the best way to study Russian language. It is quite difficult. The language is quite difficult. But in any case, we have a lot of African students here, and altogether in Russian Federation, there are more than 35,000 students, and all of them are able to speak in Russian. So I think you will be able also, if you want. Some other questions, maybe?
Not that I can see. Of Alla Lazarevna, thank you so much for your time. I know that you're really busy right now with a lot of other stuff, and I really appreciate that you could join us and answer and tell us about how to enter Russia. I know that many African students dream of coming to Russia to study, and they often write to us, how can we do that? And I would definitely share this video. So I hope that they could find the information about that in your lecture. Again, thank you very much for you and Maxim Nikolaevich for joining us and sharing the information. It is really valuable source of information for us and for students and for journalists, I hope. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and hope to see you in Russia.